Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video we'll be looking at yet another twin combi style lock. This is one of the newer Assa locks called Assa Neptun. I think it's the Neptun 4900. I think there's two of them. So essentially this is like a patent extension kind of thing with twin combi. But there is one difference between twin combi I will show you pretty soon. So we have our classic 6 pins or 6 cuts for the main stack and 5 cuts on the side for the side pins. You can see them right here. And this key bow shape is almost like a D12, says Neptune in here, and some numbers without, I don't know what they mean. Here's the housing. So pretty much your standard Scandi oval housing with a sidebar groove on this left side, and this particular lock uses a closing rod, which is a pretty neat design. If you wanna get it, you will see how it works if you haven't seen it yet, as I got the lock later. This is our plug, and I wanna say this is probably the most interesting part, because you will see the little change that is here compared to the twin combi. So this keyway, I think it's pretty normal. I'm not sure if it's different from twin combi from the top of my head. It's kinda restrictive, but you can definitely use a 19 thousandths hook for picking it. We have milling for barrel spools, so this sort of multi-stage, almost like a threading kind of thing, so all of the chambers are milled. We have a slot for sidebar, and we have 5 slots for the side pins or finger pins, as they are called in this kind of locks. So what's different here compared to the normal twin combi is that these side pins sort of sit in normal like a pockets, right? So there is this piece of wording that runs across the keyway, and it actually prevents you from accessing the knobs of the side of the finger pins as soon as you lift them. And it has some consequences for picking. Okay, let me just show you. I will just install this one. So as soon as you lift the side pin to some position, you can see that it sort of hides in this pocket or in this chamber, and this piece of wording is preventing you from accessing it anymore. So you sort of have to rotate it before you lift it, and if you lift it and it's in wrong position, you won't be able to sort of correct it. In normal twin combi you could do that. If you lifted a finger pin and the rotation wasn't correct, you could still sort of salvage it, because you could reach this knob. But here, because of this piece of wording, you cannot do that. So it essentially forces you to preset all the rotations of the side pins and then lift them. But for me it didn't make a difference, because that's actually how I pick all twin combi style locks. I always preset the rotation of the finger pins. So for those of you who don't know how this lock works, I will just demonstrate the action of one finger pin, although I did exactly the same in my last video, but yeah, just for the sake of demonstration. So as the key advances through the keyway, you can see that the key pin, or the finger pin is rotating left and right, or fore and aft, and it's also of course moving up and down as a side pin should, but it has, you can see the rotation, and it's trying to expose its through gate towards the sidebar. And what's important as well is that I lose this spring. I will just park it here. If you look at the fingerpin closely, you can appreciate the vertical serrations that run across it. Okay, so hopefully you can see that, but these are the vertical serrations, and these ones interact with the sidebar, or to be exact, with these. Okay, I want to focus with these edges of these protrusions. So on edges of these prongs, or what are they're called, I don't know, there are serrations as well, and these interact with the vertical serrations of the side pins. So that makes the rotating a lot harder. And for drivers we have these newer Assa barrels. So pretty much your standard Assa driver nowadays. I won't go into much detail about picking barrels because I already did in some other videos, and there are also some nice videos about approaching barrel spools. For example, the one from Artichoke is pretty good. To make things short, you basically need to first push all of the barrels into the milling, then you basically pick the sidebar or the finger pins, and after that you will push the barrels out of the milling. In this case the whole process was pretty difficult, especially the third phase, pushing the barrels out of the milling, because this log is actually pretty new, and the milling was biting pretty hard, so there was a little bit of ping-ponging towards the end, but yeah, I'm glad actually that it was a challenge, so I enjoyed it. So for picking this lock I used this Moki pick. I think it's the steepest one with the flat top, so that worked pretty nice for the barrels. Your traditional tool for side pins or finger pins, the MP10, and tensioning with the 1mm top of the keyway tensioner. Alright, so I guess we can go ahead and get this lock picked. Alright, here we go. Works perfect. So clockwise tension with a 1mm pry bar, and let's start by driving the barrels into milling. Okay, so a couple of clicks out of 1, 2 and 3. That should be it. Now finger pins. So 1 is just a lift, 2 is a pull, so trying to get behind it. It's not binding, I don't know why. Let me just start over. Maybe I accidentally overset a barrel, it can totally happen. At the beginning of the pick. So yeah, this feels a bit better. Okay, so 1, lifting, 2, pull, I don't know if I already pulled it. Maybe I have, but it's already lifted by accident. Okay, pushing 3, pushing 4, lifting 5. Now give all of them a little tap. Okay, nice click out of the sidebar. I think it's set. Now moving to the drivers. Now it's time to drive them out of milling. This can be pretty difficult actually, as it appears. So 5, Okay. One is binding. Okay, now it's springy. 2 is fine, 3 is binding. Couple of clicks there. 1 dropped. Really light tension now. 2 is good. Okay, actually no, 2 is binding. Click on 2. 1 is good. More clicks on 2. 3 is good. 4 is binding. 2 clicks there. 5 is good. Click on 6. 1 is binding, I think. Gave him a click. 2 should be good. Super light tension actually. And now I think we're down to like 1 barrel. Wonder which one it is. Not 2. Not 3, 4 dropped, it looks like. Okay, not gonna push him any further. Let's try 2 again. You can definitely overset and lose all your progress now. Okay, I think 1 is still binding. Okay, click there. 2 is dropped. 1 is still set. 4 is dropped. Because why not? 5 and 6 should be good. This is ping-ponging. Okay, finally the lock gives up the ghost. Alright, so after a little bit of ping-ponging towards the end, the lock opened. So yeah, definitely a pretty difficult one, especially with this with the fresh milling. It honestly makes a huge difference. Okay, so I will just adjust this a little. Okay, so I wanna use this nice shiny tray from RWBEN, who is a pretty known tool maker, but he also makes these trays, so I will use it, although I don't think it will be good for videos or photos. So this has a nice closing rod. Some of the Assas have it. It's a really good design. And now I can get the main stack from the top. Okay, it kind of works, but it's flipped. I will rearrange it afterwards. Okay, there's 4. Okay, 5. That was nice. And 6 almost. You know what I actually what I can do is I can flip the whole tray now, right? And it will be almost in the right order. Cool. Okay, so basically we have everything out from the top. There is a torque screw in the back that goes off. I'm not sure where will I put these finger pins. I think they will fit above the drivers. Okay, I assume now this is something like pull protection. I already saw something like that in D12. Okay, it's like a little brass plate as well. And now we can just remove the whole plug with the sidebar. Okay, so first things first, sidebar goes here and the springs as well. And lastly, we will deal with the side pins. Okay, so there's... Okay, I will just put them here, why not? 1, 2, 4, 5 and 3. Looks a bit stuck, a bit lost. Okay. And now these springs, I don't know if they will fit into these chambers or these grooves. Okay, there's one more. Come on. I will help him. Okay. Perfect. I think that's about it. Can I put these springs like here? I don't know. I won't. I guess it won't fit. Anyway, guys, here's the close-up. So we have our drivers, finger pins, their springs, and some miscellaneous parts. Hopefully you enjoyed this video on this pretty rare Assa. I definitely enjoyed picking it. It was quite a challenge. And yeah, that's about all from me for now. Hopefully we'll see each other with the next video pretty soon. Until then, have a good one. Bye.